everything that I did like 100%. I was like a James Bond fan when I was really small, and I dressed in a suit and walked around and knew everything about James Bond, even though my parents didn't even let me watch the movies. My name's Tom Botwid. I make art and I skateboard, and I also run a skateboard company, which is basically a combination of those two interests. I started skating when I was 11 years old, I think. I saw some guys at my school that were skating, classic story, thought it looked cool, wanted to do it, thought I sucked so much that I didn't dare to skate at my school. So I got a board from my dad after a lot of hassling him, and then I started skating at home, like on this wooden deck that we had outside of our house, because I thought I had to get good before I could go to school and skate, because I was embarrassed. My brother started skating at that point too, so we skated a lot together, and it gave me a sense of belonging somehow, I guess. Then when I started high school, we moved to Lund outside of Malmö, and there was a lot more skaters. Then started traveling a little bit and went to like Barcelona, Malaga, classic places, a lot of skating. Somewhere along the line I also got, like, I've always been drawing and painting and doing stuff. And then one winter I was living in Berlin, and I started doing it more and more. Got into like a preparatory art school in Stockholm, so moved there. Started like focusing more on making art and like learning about that, which was also like a new thing. But it was kind of, for me, it was like a little bit difficult with art, or is still in one way, compared to like the people that I went to art school with, because for them that was that first love. But for me, I had skateboarding also. So like I couldn't spend like all night in the studio because I really wanted to go skating as well. So I was always like trying to balance those two. I was applying for fine art schools, and it's really hard. So it took like 2 years. I went to preparatory art school for 2 years applying for schools, and then got in finally in Berlin. So I moved down there and had to learn German, get into that scene. Went to art school there for 3 years, and also skated a lot in Berlin. Got to know a lot of really good people down there, and I think it kind of, art school changed my view of skateboarding as well, in a good way. The aspect of performance became less important, but the aspect of originality and like reinventing or reinterpreting, I don't know if you really invent something, but you maybe reinterpretate it, became more important to me as I learned more about that within art and from my teachers at the school. In art school, you see a lot of people doing interesting things, and you study art history, and you go to exhibitions, and you see all that, and being very involved in that, and at the same point very involved in skateboarding, I started thinking a lot about the fact that a lot of like the visual things in skateboarding revolve around nostalgia in different ways. Like you reinterpret like 90s graphics or like comic characters from the 80s, or you kind of use a lot of the same imagery, and it goes around and around and around, but there is so much visual input that you can take and bring into skateboarding. And I started thinking more and more about that, and at that point I started like printing some t-shirts myself and like very DIY. I started thinking about making a board all right, me and my friends, how many do you have to order? 100 boards, split it on 10 boards each. And I started talking to some friends, and they were stoked on the idea to just make a board, and were willing to put to like buy their boards in advance. So they put that money in, and we ordered a board with an abstract graphic under the name Poeticcollective. We started filming a little bit and like talking more about doing some kind of little clip, like very low key. But at that point, I also finished school and moved back to Sweden, to Malmö. It was a tough period in my life, getting out of school, and like a lot of personal stuff was happening at that time that got me really down. But skateboarding and focusing on Poeticcollective gave me energy at that point. Somehow we made like a little video. My brother Paul does doing a lot of editing at that point. He edited the video based off like some ideas that I had and a lot of like his creativity, or he is really, really good at that as well. Had a little premiere, and I think maybe around then it was at the point where we're like, all right, maybe it's like a little skateboard company, because I think they had 3 boards into the local skate shop or something. But it was a very organic process. It was kind of not planned to become a real company, but more about like doing something, which I think is like a good starting point for anything. Just doing it for doing it, the process is the actual goal of it. And that was, or is still very much the case with Poetic. It's like skateboard. I want to go skateboarding. I want to go out with people that I like to watch and that I like to skate with. Maybe it became a little bit more serious at some point also. Like, had one friend, Sarah, that was at that point riding for another skateboard company. And when she said she wanted to ride for Poetic, it was like, oh, okay, like someone that's actually like has like another sponsor, wants to like go to this. And I felt like maybe a bit more of a responsibility to actually like keep doing it and not only like do it whenever I felt like it. I mean, I learned more, I think, doing like Poetic than I learned doing anything else in my life. It's still so small. Some people think it's like really big because we live in an age where you can basically like fake it till you make it. Like you have an Instagram account and you have a skateboard company, and but actually getting into like a lot of shops and abroad and handling that and like having a budget to do stuff and all is super difficult. And to this day I still never, I work half-time at a museum and live off that. I never pay myself from Poetic, and I do all this with a lot of my friends, and we've grown this together, and I try to provide them with as much possibilities to do fun stuff and help them like in any way that I can, give them a window to shine in any way that they want to shine, if it's through their skating or filmmaking or anything else. Through all that, I hope to like provide like I said, a window for them, and to show like maybe a different vision of skateboarding than what is represented in a lot of the mainstream media. Like, it's always really important for me to include more women as well. Hopefully, like my ideal vision would be to have like a Poetic skate clip where there's like just as many men as women. Not like separate it, not do like an all girls team or something, but just it's just skateboarding. And if someone has like great style and looks cool doing it, it doesn't really matter like why should there be like a girls team or a guys team where someone's just stylish and doing their thing and having fun together? Performance in skateboarding has kind of lost its relevance in one way, because at some point everyone became really good. It doesn't matter what you do, it's how you do it, or like originality and authenticity and style is more important than performance. If it was only performance, it would be like, all right, track, like someone runs the fastest, they're the best, like someone does the hardest tricks, they're the best. But it's not like that in skating, and that is what is good. It's like what separates it from other sports and makes it into an art form, because what is good is a subject for discussion, not a subject for measurement. Oh,